Hello and welcome to Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host, and I invite you to tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. So today we are talking about something that is near and dear to my heart because I was a caregiver, and I'm sure it's near and dear to many of your hearts, and if it's not, it just might be in the near future. And I have a person, Judy O'Connor, who founded a company, and the CEO of a company called Like Neighbors. And that name intrigued me because I didn't equate like neighbors with caregiving, but it's kind of encompasses a lot about near and far, and I'm going to mess this whole thing up, but I'm going to let Judy talk more about this. But having been in the middle of taking care of someone, first long distance and then up close, up locally, I really resonated with the purpose and what she's doing. So without me talking any further, Judy, welcome to Think About It.
Thank you, Sylvia.
And so just start right in with what led you to start a company. You know, have you been involved in caregiving and found out nobody does what you wanted? So how did that happen?
That actually is exactly what happened.
And I didn't even know that, folks.
A few years ago, a friend of mine across the country in California, her little boy was diagnosed with cancer just before he turned 2. And he spent the entire following year in the hospital. And his parents pretty much had to give up every other aspect of their life to spend time with their little boy 24/7 and manage his care. And that meant they were quitting their jobs, they were rehoming their pets, everything was turned upside down. So while they were trying to give care to this little boy, all of their family and friends were trying to help and give care to them. And being across the country, it was very difficult to know what to do. How do you help somebody? And usually when we're long distance, we're stuck either writing a Facebook message that says, wish I lived closer, sending hugs, thinking of you, or we're sending a fruit basket, or something that isn't really the type of meaningful and tangible help that they need in a situation like that. So a few months in, a local friend of theirs posted, hey, they could really use meals. So I thought, okay, I can do that. So I thought I'll send a meal to them in California. That is more difficult than you would think, because I didn't know, are they going to be home? Are they going to be at the hospital? How many people are eating? Who delivers to their house? Are there dietary preferences or restrictions? And I ended up needing to contact my friend's husband directly, the dad of the little boy, and I hated to intrude. And the whole thing was just far more difficult and intrusive than it should be. And I thought, you know what? There should be a way where you can just click and send and get somebody a meal, get someone a house cleaner, get somebody to, someone to mow their lawn, whatever you need, a dog walker in a situation like this. And that's what prompted me. It nagged at me for a couple of years, and finally I said, I have to do this.
The genesis of every small business is the words, there should.
Yes, and there should. It was ridiculous. And that's why Like Neighbors, with Like Neighbors, you can be like a neighbor even if you're across the country.
So this isn't just caregiving. This is essentially, well, it is, but it's caring for the caregiver.
Exactly. Yep.
Ah.
So you can care for someone that you love. Maybe your parents are aging or just broke something, or they just went through surgery and you're across the country. What do? Well, you can now easily help and send them meaningful help, send them things that they actually need, even if you're not in town.
Okay, and that has got to complement that. I mean, there are lots of caregiving companies, and more are emerging as we baby boomers are entering that need. But I haven't heard of, though, what supports that. The things that, the person that you're serving sounds like they don't need the nurse, but they need that.
They need help.
Yeah.
They need help with the day-to-day aspects of living, whether it's getting dinner on the table for their kids while they're recovering from surgery, or what if somebody is going through cancer treatment, or whatever the situation is. You need help with the day-to-day stuff. And there are certainly there are meal delivery companies out there. There are ways you can get help to somebody. But Like Neighbors, the goal of Like Neighbors is to be a gift registry for people in need.
Oh.
So people can really pick and choose, this is what I need on this day, this is what I need on this day. So we're starting out with meal delivery. We're fairly new. And we are about to add medical transportation. And from there, we'll be adding other services like house cleaning, dog walking, and some of the other services I mentioned.
Awesome. And this is for nationwide?
Right now, we are across the Mid-Atlantic. So our meal delivery partner is a company called Galley Foods. It's based in DC.
Okay.
And they deliver all across the Mid-Atlantic. So right now, that's our service area. Also, the medical transportation provider will also serve the Mid-Atlantic. Our goal is certainly to be national. Now, the giver can be anywhere in the country.
Right.
So if you're in California
Right.
and you know someone in New York who needs help, you can click and help them. But the service area right now is Mid-Atlantic.
That's, man, so one phone call. I just spent the weekend with someone who lost her husband a few months ago.
Sorry.
And she said that, number one, it's hard. People don't know what to say when you're in the midst of, as well as at the end,
Yes.
and the 2 months later when all the company is gone. So that's another business in and of itself.
Yep.
How do you talk to somebody? But she said if she received another, what's that fruit basket company? And I guess something expressions, or I don't know. She said if she said got another fruit basket,
Yep.
she was going to scream.
Yep.
Because
It's
now
so
she's
nice,
alone,
but
and they give this
yeah.
fruit, and it goes away in 2 days
Right.
anyway.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
too much.
great.
I mean, people's intentions are very
Yeah.
good, but what people truly need in these times is very specific, and it's not 5 fruit baskets, unfortunately.
So how do we know? How do we know what somebody needs?
Great
You know,
question.
and
So typically, when somebody sets up what we call a care campaign on like neighbors.com, it's a close relative or friend of the family that is setting this up. So
Okay.
what I talk about whenever I talk about caregiving is you need a team captain, because everybody and their brother is saying, how can I help? What do you need? Just let me know. And when you're going through a situation, whether
Yeah.
you're the person in need or you're the caregiver, you can't even put into words, let alone give everybody instructions and figure out how everything's going to turn out okay. So you really need to appoint one person. Maybe it's a sister or a brother or your best friend or a neighbor.
Okay.
And you just, that's the one person that you can download this information to and say, oh, I need a ride to this appointment every Thursday, and my son's got to get picked up, from an activity late from school every Wednesday. And let that person disseminate the information to everybody and organize people. You can't take it upon yourself to be communicating with everybody whose intentions are good, but you just can't handle it all yourself.
Yeah. And I'm also thinking, how many times do we feel like, oh, I've got it all. I've got it all. I don't want to ask somebody else because they don't want to hear the whining. You know, they've got their life.
Yes.
Why should I impose on them? And all these things go through your head.
It's true. It's incredibly difficult to ask for help. And that's another reason that having a team captain is great, because this should be a person that you are very comfortable with, that you can break down in front of and say, I'm completely overwhelmed. This is what I need help. You don't feel comfortable doing that with everybody. So if you have that one person that's close that can really help you out, that's terrific. But you're right, and it's a big problem. People don't want to ask for help, and I've been in that situation myself, and ended up in the ER as a result. I thought I was handling everything, and I was not. So you can't take that all upon yourself. Your body and mind are not built to be able to take all of that pressure and emotion.
And you probably don't even know that you've reached that point.
No, I thought I was handling everything beautifully.
Yeah, I got that.
I got it.
Now, and I'm thinking, my gosh, and then you maintain your job too, which is just another whole world. And how much do they understand at some point? Yes, there are laws that say you can take time off, but
Sure.
still.
But you still feel you have responsibilities in every direction.
Yeah.
And my parents both passed away the same year in 2010. And while I was caring for them, I had 2 little boys and a full-time job.
Wow.
And my husband was amazing, and he took care of everything he could at home, so I could run to the hospital and run to the rehab center and do my job and do all these other things and try to also see my family.
Wow.
But it was really difficult, and I didn't ask for the help that I should have asked for. Lesson learned.
Well, and so that's you're even more emotionally involved in the reason why for your
Absolutely.
business. So is this a full-time? Is this your company? Is your full-time?
It is. It is. We launched last year, and as I mentioned, we're building it up and just trying to get the word out about it and let people know that it's a resource that exists, and it's super easy to use, both for the people setting it up and for the family and friends who want to participate and send help. So it's another way that you can help, whether you're across town or across the country. It's easy.
So how do you find, without giving away your secrets?
Sure.
Yeah. How do you find the resources that you recommend or that you provide, like the Angie's List of
Sure.
services? And
So I do work with several organizations, and many of them are in Montgomery County. And this county is incredible for resources. Any situation that you're going through, there is an organization that can help. And so I really do encourage people to not feel alone, to start Googling, start looking. So first of all, Like Neighbors works with organizations. A few in Montgomery County include Every Mind and Serving Together, which are mental health organizations. And also personally, my mother was in Casey House, which is part of Montgomery Hospice.
Yep.
So, and there's
familiar with them.
Yep, wonderful organization called Widow Care. There are all these organizations that are right here with support groups and resources, and they're ready to help. So we work with those organizations to reach out and help the people that are part of their communities.
Okay.
And then we also reach out to our partner organizations. So for example, Galley Food for a meal delivery.
ask,
And
okay.
yeah, so we have partners on both sides. And we're very careful about who we partner with for the services, because we want to make sure it's right for the people who are injured or ill or grief stricken. It has to be the
Okay.
right thing that we're sending, and it has to be affordable for the people who are giving it.
Oh, that's
so
true.
those are all considerations as well.
So is there like a subscription to your service, or
Nope.
do they handle the actual services kind of
Right.
service by service?
So it's service by service. There's nothing that you need to subscribe to. The way Galley Food works, which is one of the reasons we chose to partner with them, is it's not a subscription meal service. So the way it works on Like Neighbors is people actually on a calendar can say which days they need meals,
Okay.
and then their family and friends email them the Galley gift cards.
Okay.
So whenever they or the person who's helping them out know that they need a meal, they've got that gift card
Oh, awesome.
sitting right in their inbox, and they can use it for whatever they need,
Awesome.
whenever they need it. So that's how we work to make it easy for everybody involved and make sure that the people on the receiving end are really getting exactly what they need when they need it.
Wow, you had to plan this thing out.
It's a lot of
Well, not only to
nights
say,
just thinking, what's the next thing?
yeah, and how to make it actually serve the people who need it instead of
Right.
just what you needed and then imposing that on somebody else.
Right. It's a lot of consideration. And again, having been in the caregiver role and understanding what people need, and and if somebody is recovering from surgery and they're waiting for a caregiver to come and help them with their meal, the Galley meals are actually delivered chilled. And so all the person has to do is heat it up when they're ready to eat it. So if they're not feeling well, or it's somebody who just had a brand new baby and they just want a nap and eat later, they can do that too. And it's not going to be sort of reheated, not so appetizing food. The food is amazing.
Okay, but again, the value of Like Neighbors is that you handle a lot of that stuff rather than
Right.
me needing something and having to go hunt it down.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
In about a minute, we're going to take a break. I'm kind of holding off on asking you. I wanted to ask for a couple of tips for viewers, just kind of as they come to you, maybe
Sure.
for how to deal with caring for others and caring for themselves, and also then talk a little more in depth about how they reach you and how to set things up with you
Sounds
and all
great.
that. So I'm going to cut it short and say we're going to take a break.
If you store your guns properly,
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
please.
Do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Hello, welcome back to Think About It. And I'm Sylvia Henderson, and I'm still your host. And we are still talking about not just caregiving, but the services that surround, the services that are needed by the people who are giving the care in many different situations. And my guest is Judy O'Connor, and her business is called Like Neighbors. So Judy, we talked a little bit about asking for help. Sometimes the help we need, or sometimes what we need, isn't really, well, it may be help in a different way, but it's really just to get away from the situation. Now, the help might be somebody needs to watch the dog while you're getting away, but talk a little bit about just getting away and not feeling guilty about it.
Right, and not feeling guilty is hard. I don't know, honestly, if there's any way around that, because you always feel torn. You always feel like you should be one place when you're at another place. But getting away is critical. When you're in a caregiving role, you are always waiting for your phone to go off with the next emergency, and something always needs to be handled, and you don't know how bad it's going to be when that phone number pops up, from the hospital. So being able to get away, if you can, is so important. And when I was helping out my parents, my dad had just passed away, and my mom had stage 4 cancer.
Whoa.
And so right in the middle of that, they passed away 7 months apart. And I turned 40 right in the middle of that.
All righty. And you had children.
And I had 2 little boys and the job. And my husband handled everything on the home front. And my aunt from California flew out to stay with my mom. And that let me get away for a few days with some friends and celebrate my birthday. And I was really able to completely remove myself. I knew everybody was in good hands. The phone was always on if somebody really needed to reach me, but being able to get away, whether it's for a night or a few nights, if you can find some people that you trust to just take care of things for a couple of days, physically removing yourself from the situation and being around people that you can really feel comfortable with and laugh with, cry with, whatever you need, I can't recommend that highly enough.
Yeah. And and with the adage about if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of the person who needs you?
And that's a big part of it. And day after day, you may not be able to take care of yourself. There are just demands that are there every single day. But if you can pinpoint a weekend or just one time that you can look forward to and know everything's handled and remove yourself, it's really important.
So that's kind of a tip
Yes.
for people who are giving the care. What are some of the other things you're going through, the things you went through personally, that you can share that are, I don't know, tips, rules that you had to live by?
Yeah.
And that's both for caring for parents, these seniors, and caring for youth. Because you said it was a little boy who sparked.
2 little guys. Oh, yes.
Yeah, who sparked your whole purpose.
Right. So, these situations sometimes come out of the blue. You don't expect a diagnosis or you don't expect emergency surgery, and, all of a sudden you're thrown into the middle of the situation and you're just trying to handle minute to minute what's going on. And the biggest thing I can say is ask for help. And that's what we're talking about here. As hard as it is and as awkward as you feel, find that team captain that you feel comfortable with and say, hey, can you be my point person? Can you really help me, get updates out to everybody, or let people know not to call me? Don't stop by the house. All these things that you need to get the message out, but you either feel awkward or you're not sure how and when to reach everybody, and everybody's emailing you. Have that point person and ask for help through that point person or a couple of point people that you're really comfortable with. I think that's really important.
And this can go. The one thing we don't think about is 2 months after you've lost somebody. And so I'm assuming people can use your services.
Absolutely.
No matter when.
Absolutely. And something too is when you create a care campaign on Like Neighbors, you can say, okay, we need meals for a couple of weeks here. And then maybe you turn the campaign off. Nobody gets updates. It's like it never happened. But then if somebody's going back into surgery or something else happened, Like Neighbors and the care campaign is there when and if you need it, however long you need it, whether it's a week or whether it's months on end or open-ended. It's really easy that way, and we certainly do have a lot of people who use it in a loss and grief situation. It's a great way for people to chip in and show they care, and even for offices. We've had it in the workplace where people don't really know what to do for the coworker, and it's a friend, but you're not close enough to drop by the house, and this is a really nice way to offer support too.
That's true. I like that term, care campaign.
Thank you.
And I'm assuming, because that sounds like it could be timed. I mean, so, like I said, 2 months later, something could pop up, without having to go through a whole lot of thought about it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's easy.
So, so in my head, the natural people who would use this kind of service would be parents of the person needing care, or the offspring, the grown offspring of the seniors. Who else might? I mean, who else is out there who?
We have all kinds of situations. We actually have done quite a bit of work with military organizations in the area and with veterans. With Fisher House, we actually did a program in May called 5,000 Meals, where people all around the country were able to give meals to Fisher House families. Wow. And Fisher House is where families stay when their military loved ones are getting treated at Walter Reed and other military medical.
Ronald
exactly,
McDonald
which is another organization that we're beginning to partner with as well. So these are really the families who need us. So it's military situations, it's critically ill children, and then I've had, and I love these calls, I've had a couple of grandmas call me. They don't necessarily want to use the website, but they hear about it or somebody tells them, and I get a phone call, and they want to send. They're out of town and they can't travel to their son or daughter who's just brought home a new baby. And one of the grandmothers said to me, "Well, if I can't be there to cook them a meal, I'm going to do this." It's so sweet. So it's great for new babies. It's great for loss. It's great for any sort of situation, surgery, anything where people just need support, need help, and their friends and family want to pitch in. They want to help. So it's a great opportunity for the friends and family too.
Seems like something that getting the word out to hospitals, getting the word out to other. Especially to the, there's somebody who you talk to in the hospital before you check out. I can't think of
They're patient liaisons. Yeah, we actually work with Sibley Hospital, with their Kimmel Cancer Center. Okay. So we really want to reach the patients who need us. And something else that's important about Like Neighbors is there's no fee to use it. We don't take a cut of what anybody pays for a gift card or a meal. It goes 100% toward that service. And of course, for the people who are receiving the help, there's no sort of fee there either. So it's it's affordable, it's easy, and it's just a great way to help.
So I'm thinking too, man, so if you've got an organization, a lot of times, so I ride a motorcycle and I'm part of a motorcycle group, not a gang.
Group.
And we're always doing the Toys for Tots, or we're always doing, that's kind of the thing we think about.
Right.
Yet I know lots of organizations want to do something that's charitable, but they don't know what.
Yes.
Or they'd hesitate because they don't know that the recipient is directly going to get the service.
Exactly.
So it sounds like signing up and contributing through Like Neighbors.
Yep. It's going straight
would be a great way
to the person.
To do a fundraiser.
Absolutely. So you could do a fundraiser for a particular person or for a particular group, but have all of the gift cards and services sent directly to your point person in the group. So you never wonder, where that's going. And, other crowdfunding organizations and websites are wonderful, and certainly there's a place for people who need money and need funds. But you brought up a great point, is a lot of times people aren't comfortable asking for money or receiving or giving it, because you don't know, all right, who's really getting the money, how is it really going to be spent. And this way you can be confident that this is going for meals, because that's all they can get with it. So you know exactly what it's going toward.
Neat. So how do, your website has been scrolling along the bottom as well of the program as we've been talking. Talk more about how someone contacts you, and then what do they do to get started with Like
Sure.
Neighbors?
So it's really easy. It literally takes 5 minutes. You go to likeneighbors.com, and if you can just click to start a new campaign if you would like to create a campaign, or you can just send a gift card. If you don't want to organize help for somebody, but you know they could use a meal, there's also something on the homepage where you can just click to send a gift card and just do it that way. But if you want to organize help, it's just a little online form that you fill out. You can upload photos if you like. You can put a little story so you can explain the situation. There's a way you can put updates, and then you just really put in the email address of the person who's going to get the gift cards, and then you click on the calendar and fill in the dates that they need help.
Cool. And is there, you said the service area is the Mid-Atlantic for
Right.
now.
Right.
But the person doing it can be calling from anywhere in the country.
Correct. Right.
Are you planning to expand? Are you looking for
Absolutely.
people to kind of be
Yes.
your what do they call it, license it or something so that you grow?
So absolutely, the goal is eventually we'll have national service providers who can deliver their services or send their gift cards and have their services used anywhere in the country. We do plan to eventually partner with very large organizations. We want anyone, anywhere to be able to give and
Yeah.
receive exactly the help they need when they need it. So that's the goal. We're just getting
Wow.
going, but hopefully we'll be there before too long.
You probably will, because
Thank you.
the need for this is just exponential. And you're right. There's so many little pieces to it. If I need a ride, I could call the ride sharing companies who haven't paid to be mentioned, so we won't say. And yes, you can arrange for other things too, but
It takes a lot
But
of
it's
coordination and a lot of guesswork and a lot of back and forth.
it's like the people don't want to use travel agents anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They go, I can find the airline, I can find the hotel, but being one who has been frugal with travel,
Yep.
there are times when I think, oh man, okay, just call
And have
a
it all.
company and have them figure
Yep.
it all out.
Yep.
Plus, they get discounts that I may not get.
Yep.
So, in the last minute or two, what are some of the last things, even if it's a repeat of what you said earlier,
Sure.
you want viewers to really stick in their head about what you do, as well as just how to take care of themselves?
Sure. I think really the most important piece is to just ask for help. And actually, it's something that we've been posting on Like Neighbors social media. It's a hashtag just ask.
Ah.
It's so hard to ask. I understand. I've been there. It feels really awkward. But not only do you need the help, but your family and friends really, really want to help you. And you have to keep in mind, if the situation were reversed and it was your friend or the other mom at school who needed the help, you'd be there in a second.
That's a good.
So
that's a good point.
let people do that for you. They really do want to.
Yeah, and yes, we say on social media now, heart, 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 heart. And my heart's with you and all of that stuff.
Right.
But it's like having gone through loss. It's like, that's good.
Yep, it's nice.
And
the support is
Okay.
wonderful. People do need the
Yeah.
support, but they also really need that tangible help.
Okay, so it's hashtag just help. is what you
Hashtag
do?
just ask.
Oh, just get.
Yes.
Hello, yes, hashtag just ask.
Yes.
All right.
And so we want people to just be able to ask for help and not feel awkward about it. It's okay.
Awesome. Judy, we have come to an end quickly. So thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you.
And I encourage viewers to just ask and reach out to Like Neighbors to do that. So with that, thank you for joining me on Think About It. I'm Sylvia Henderson, your host. And until next time, tune in, take what you see and hear, and, well, think about it. I invite you to make a great day.